so much for watching my YouTube channel. Super excited. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited today to introduce you to one of my favorite all-time people on the planet, my friend, Evie Dawkins. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'm thrilled because, and here's the deal, there's always this question about balance. Sarah, how do you balance life? You know, you got the kids and all that. And I want you to hear from Evie because Evie's in the middle of balance. So give us a little thumbnail of kind of what is life like for you right now, and then we'll talk about balance.
Sure. Yep, so I'm Evie. I'm married. I've been married for almost 5 years to my husband, Judah. He is in full-time ministry. He's a worship pastor, and obviously there's a whole lot with that, just being married to a worship pastor. I'm also in the corporate world. I work full-time Monday through Friday, and so our schedules are very different. On top of that, we have a 2-year-old who's very adorable. He's wild, obviously, as 2-year-olds get, and we are pregnant with our second. This was a plan, so.
Nice.
Yeah, so we've got a lot going on, but it works. So I do ministry and business. He does full-time ministry and our home life. So it's...
Yeah, motherhood and wife and all that. So balance, how do you do that? That's a tricky thing. How do you do it?
Yeah, so, I mean, I wish I could say that it's easy, but it's definitely been the most challenging thing of my life. Being married, first of all, is like one of the hardest things you can do. But it's been so good, and it's definitely been a journey for us learning each other, learning, you know, what the other one needs and when. So that's been a huge thing. But I'd say, honestly, when it comes down to it, I'd say the thing that keeps me going and, like, sane is the Holy Spirit. Like, there's definitely, like, seasons that I've noticed in my life where I'm like, whoa, I have grace for this somehow, and it doesn't add up when you write it all down, but there's just grace there that you can't explain. Like when you join into a covenant, when you commit to things, God breathes on it and you just kind of get grace. But then there's days or weeks or seasons where it's like you're like just barely going. And luckily this is like a really cool season for us. We're really like just blessed, honestly, and that's the best way to describe it. But a couple of things besides just having like the Holy Spirit and grace, we love schedules. So it's been really, really good for us to kind of, you know, having kids is just a whole nother mix, but having a schedule is really nice. So for me, like practically speaking, if we can just jump into the practical, I know that Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I'm going to be in office at my job. Luckily, I work a job that allows me to work from home 2 days a week or more if I need to. And so having a schedule like that I know what's coming, I also know what's coming on the weekends, that's huge. And so it's definitely hard because like there's schedule throw-ins that come in. There's days where it's like, oh, this is a conference week at our church or at this church or another church. And so it's like, whoa, everything's crazy. But we usually just kind of like do like a hermit shell after that. And we just kind of say no a lot. And that's been huge. Just learning how to say no to things for us. So yeah, just things like that. Like learning how to understand your schedule. Know at the end of the day, okay, we're both going to be here. We're going to meet back at our home base. And we're going to be good. So, yeah.
And some days kind of don't pan out that well, right? Yeah. Some days are just a train wreck.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Yeah, so I think the days that are the worst for us is when, like, one of us isn't talking to the other. And so it's like if you're in this motion and you're, like, trying to, like, figure out, okay, what's the next step just to get through today, and you're just thinking about today, it can either go really great if you have good communication or good pre-planning. But if you don't know what's coming in the day, and then you don't have communication with your person, your partner, your husband, then you kind of get stuck a little bit, and you're like, oh, I don't know what's coming. So that's the days that we have the most trouble and like the most like hard days or hard weeks is when you don't know what's coming, or it's like not possible to communicate with the other person because you're so busy.
Right, and then just get swamped.
Yeah.
Let me ask this too. Are there times when you feel inadequate? Like there's not enough of you?
Yeah.
Whether because you're too tired or whatever. How do you deal with that?
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely like a lot. Just the enemy will just come in and just start to tell you the lies, and just when you start to believe them, that's when it really sucks. So, yeah, just thinking that I'm not a good mom is like one of the hardest ones to think about. Or wow, I'm like a really bad friend. Because I love people and I love my friends, and that has kind of been like definitely like third or fourth in my life since becoming a mom, since becoming a partner in like full-time ministry. You know, it's like, so those two things, you do feel that you battle that inadequacy, and it's just like, man. But I think honestly, it's really easy for me to kind of jump out of that. I don't know if I'm good at forgetting stuff.
Sure. Nice.
But it's like I just feel like sometimes I just need to sit and just like kind of. Yeah, I think it depends on how, like, learning yourself how you actually like get filled up. If you need to be with a lot of people, or if you need to be with just one person, or just by yourself, or however that works. I think that's kind of how I've learned to kind of cope with those lies and those really bad days or bad weeks, is like figuring out how do I need to like get out of this, because I can't do this anymore.
And it can be a little overwhelming, so you kind of have to reset a little bit.
Yeah.
As far as like just balance, how far down the timeline do you look?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, because I think sometimes balance, if you think, well, how do I keep, I don't know, if I, woo! So how do you manage where you keep your focus, the focal point, right?
Yeah. For me, I don't really think about immediate. Like sometimes I do think about like, okay, I get to get a nap at this time on this day, and I know that that's coming, so that's something to look forward to. But big events or big like milestones really keep me motivated. So when we were buying our house, I was like, if I can just make it to this event, I will feel really secure. Or like I will feel like, man, I got this. Or I just was in 2 weddings while being like very pregnant. Just looking forward to being like, okay, I'm not going to have this baby until I'm done with all these events. And so just looking forward to like events for me, no matter if they're like 6 months away or in a month, something I know like will make me feel kind of like accomplished and kind of like, okay, I'm doing a good job. I'm not going crazy. If I can make it to this, like, man, I got it. And if I don't make it to it, like, not just having a baby, just like in general, if I don't make it to my event where I'm like, man, I didn't get that event done, or I didn't get this thing when I wanted, or I didn't, whatever that success motivation is, that kind of, it's okay. There's always like another thing that I look forward to. So keeping like events like that where I look forward to is what I do.
And it sounds too like you give yourself permission to have some, okay, I may not be able to get there, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Because I still will do whatever.
Yeah.
So you give yourself a little bit of wiggle room and some breathing room to not be all that in a bag of chips.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's another thing, is like just discussing in a healthy way, or trying to the best you can, just with like whoever your person is. Like maybe you have a mentor or whatever, but for me it's my husband Judah. It's like discussing like, hey, we're gonna be doing XYZ. We can't add A, B, C, and D to it. We can't do that. That's no. Like you can't do that. Like learning to say no has been really, really hard, but really good. Because it's like, especially being in ministry, like, am I missing out on like something that God is gonna do, or something He's gonna take me to the next level to? or is it okay to miss this? And that's been something like, as a young person, you're like, I can't miss it. That's like our mindsets, like my husband and I are both like that. It's like, we don't want to miss it. But since having kids and like kind of maturing, we're kind of like, oh, that's not how God works. Like, you don't miss it just because you don't show up, but you do need to show up. You know what I mean? So it's like, even if it is sacrificial and showing up to like extra things or extra events, it's like, sometimes it's worth it, but you really have to like weigh what is worth it and when you can actually fit it in. So.
And you can't do it all.
No.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
And that you don't have to do it all.
Right.
So thank you, Evie. I really appreciate it. I know the little guy's coming in a couple weeks. So praying that it goes well. And thank you for your time and your help. And thank you for watching our YouTube channel. Be sure you give us some feedback, thumbs up, thumbs down. Love to have you subscribe. This would be great for you to share with your friends as well, because who doesn't wrestle and struggle with balance? Oh my goodness. So post it on your Facebook. That'd be fantastic. Or whatever, YouTube. We just appreciate you watching. And should we do a joke? Oh my gosh, we should probably do a joke, but it would have to be like off the top of my head. So it might be repeat. That's okay. So what do you call an insect on the moon? A lunatic. Oh! All right. Thanks again for watching. Catch you later.